know why I feel this way. Every day I wanna run away. I think I'll go back to that place I stay. Play on the server the TimeShot way.
Hello, people. It's Poet, and we're back on TimeShot. Now, when we left off, I had actually put up this donation. They contacted me and had me change the name to Jedi Mind Freak with all the numbers in the world. 3113. Maybe something in that. I don't know. But anyway, Jedi Mind Freak is now the name, and they did leave a message. I had it up on my screen a second ago, but basically, it just said that they love the videos, keep up the awesome work, and that they hope that me and Wyn get through this rough patch, and hope that their donation helps a little bit. And it does. So thank you so much for that donation. Today is going to be, I don't know, it's kind of an odd recording week for me. Like, I've been making these videos, and usually when I make these videos, I never have something pre-rehearsed, like even an idea often about what I'm going to talk about. But then if there's something that's been nagging me, or it's been on my mind, or something to that effect, then I'll talk about it. But I mean, there's been nothing. There's, like, maybe that's a good thing, but there's really just been nothing. And so these videos have just basically become, recently anyway, me just chatting, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. So I figured that what I would do today, I've got these houses, these husks of houses, these shells, empty shells. And so there's this one. This doesn't even have a roof. This one, that one, and that one. And what I wanted to do today is kind of just make a montage-y kind of video. I think that's kind of the goal that I'm going to go for. Like we've done in the past. I think I did a montage when I worked on, like, some of these buildings and the docklands and things like that. So I kind of like those kinds of videos. I know that you guys also like those kinds of videos. I don't do them very often. And since I don't really have too much to talk about, I figured that that's what I would do. Which would be basically just focusing a lot on building these out. But what I got to do first is get resources. Because right now I've got, like, absolutely nothing. If I make myself a chest here, I can put some of these resources down. So just throw them in. I've been working on the pirate island lately. You guys saw that in the last episode. And that's taken up a little bit of time. Not a huge amount. This is infinity, so I don't need this many arrows. I just need one. People are gonna rage probably that I did that, but whatever. Let's see. So I've been working on that, and then I've been working on the tower design. I'm sort of rethinking the whole design of it. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how it's gonna look yet, but we shall see. I've got a few ideas floating around my head, but I wanted to take a break from it and start working on this town a little. So right now, this one doesn't have a roof. This one doesn't have a roof. What I think I'm going to do first of all, first and foremost, I'm going to go off, and I should actually just enchant this with, like, a level 12 easy enchant. Even if it's a level 1, get, like, Unbreaking 1 or Efficiency 1 on it is better than nothing, and I've got some levels to spare, so let's go and do that. I'm going to go with that axe, and I'm going to go off in, I think, that direction. There's a decent amount of, like, dark oak, and maybe some oak. And what I'm going to try to do is, oh, I don't have the lapis. What I'm going to try to do is cut down some oak trees more than anything else. There we go. We got efficiency 2. Not bad. Efficiency 2. And I need some food stuffs. It's not going to attack me, is it? Okay. Good. Ooh, look at all the health this guy has got. Decent horse. Yeah, there's not going to be any food in there, is there? I thought the other day I started cooking. I guess that's what I got in my inventory. Is the stack of steak is now only 4 pieces of steak left. So I'm going to go and get ready to work. Then I'm going to go off into the forest and get some wood. And then we'll be back with what we're going to do next. So for my first step, what I'm going to do, I was just walking past here. I just collected a bunch of oak from the swampy area. So I've got, let's see how much here. 2, 3, almost 3.5 stacks. And then I grabbed a bunch of spruce and some dark oak from my chests. And that's about all that I've got right now for my resources. I do have a few other resources over there too that I put in that chest. So I'm going to be using those to build roofs and stuff. I was walking past this little walkway right here. And I thought, you know, there should be something right here. This little fountain thing that was built for the Mr. Mocking Cow family reunion thing, prank, we'll probably have to move, though. So let's just plot it out. I've done this before a lot when I'm doing my dinosaur world builds. Let's actually push it one more. I do this a lot in the dinosaur world because I don't often build on camera in that world. Okay, that's not bad. It could push it a little bit further too, but I don't want to go too far. I'm going to push it one further. Okay. Oops. So I do this a lot in the dinosaur world because I don't build a lot in that world. The viewership, mostly children, their attention spans aren't the greatest. You know it's true. You know it's true. And so they just don't quite like the building process as much as, you know, other people might, you know. So that's actually the end of it. So that means that this is all going to have to be covered. And that's going to be the edge. And then this right there. And right here. So that'll be my basic build, more or less. If we look at it from the top here, that doesn't really show a very good view of it either, because it's at an angle right now. But this plotting it's basically a square shape. You can't really see it, but it is basically a square shape. And it's going to be some kind of a build. Now, I could extend it out by 1 or 2. And that might not be too bad. Kind of like I've done with those. So that would just push it further into that. See, what I've done with this is, yeah, right here. This is the best example. Is that you see that it has 2 middle blocks. It goes log 1, 2, 3, 2 middle blocks 1, 2, 3 log. So that's not basically how this is at all. It's just got 1 center block, and that's that. So that's just the basic plot. I'm going to get to work on the roofs in a second after I mock this up a little bit better. So this is something that I struggle with often when I'm building these kinds of houses is, look at this giant pit. That's how much I've terraformed this area. In case you're new, in case you haven't seen it, like, this was the original, actually, was it? Yeah, I think this was the original level of this area. There was a bunch of dirt over top of this. You can see that I've kind of mined it all away when I was looking for dirt. But basically, this was how low it was, and I've terraformed it up that high. Let's go back up. But this is something that I've had struggles with before when having to deal with building these, because Okay, how do I do this now? Let's go like this. I'll go like that. But how do I make it look right when we're inside of the wall here? So this is the floor level. The entryway is going to actually be, I'm going to curve it out, and it's going to stick out probably like 1, 2, 3, and then like that. It'll come out that far, I figure. So these trees will have to move probably. Or optionally, I could just go out like, you know, that far, let's say. It might be a bit better, a bit more manageable. Like that. Yeah. So this will be the entryway. Is this right? Should go like that, shouldn't it? And then like 1, 2, 3, and then another log. Ideally. But I could also probably manage if I just did something like that. I don't know. No, that looks ridiculous. I can't really build out this part until I've done the roof, which is kind of odd to say, but that's the truth about it. This will be the entryway though, right off here. So anyway, how do I make it look good when built into a mountainside? So obviously this level is different than this level. So what I've decided to do, at least in this build, is just build it as I normally would. So all of these, basically all this dirt has to be chiseled away. And then things like this, broken away. Those were just my mock-ups anyway. And what I'm going to do is build it sort of like this in a way. Dirt. So, and then like this. And then like this. And like this. And like this. And like this. Okay. So, when you walk into the house, there's no indication whatsoever that we're underground if we go over here. Like, besides the fact that if I were to have a window here, well, that would be your view. So I can't have windows on those sides. On this side, I can have maybe a little window, and I will. If you can see out, you might as well take advantage of that, right? So, because otherwise this will be my only window out from the main floor, and that would kind of be stupid. The second floor will have a view, though, more or less, if I build out windows. So something I haven't done on any of these builds is build out little windows on the top floors, because I don't have a top floor as number one, but I just haven't really felt like it. I might do it on this one. So this, for some reason, I feel like it almost isn't a house. You know what I mean? It's just a weird feeling, but like, I feel like when you walk into the place, this is what it should be like, and then it should have like more or less, maybe right here, maybe one back. Let's push it one back. I'm just kind of mocking it up right now. So that'll be the countertop, and this will be maybe a table and chairs right in here. So this will become more or less like you walk in and here's a counter, and then you can sit down and maybe eat. This will be a little restaurant, cafe type of thing. Perhaps. But I don't think that this looks too bad. If I build it into the wall, but I maintain the level at the bottom, that doesn't look too bad at all. And I'm kind of happy with that. So that's what I'm going to stick with. And in doing that, it helps me out with things like this one right here, where I also struggled with the same thing. You can see. I struggled with the same thing over here. I didn't really know how to do the levels. But what I might just end up doing is maintaining the level into the wall. And that will fix that. So onto the roofs, finally, onto the roofs. I'm going to start building those right now. I'm just going to grab the resources I left in that chest, and we'll get around to it. So we're working on the roof now. I'm doing the standard style. This is a very, 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 very standard style. You've probably seen it before. Just about everybody uses this style when they're building roofs, and if you yourself are wanting to get into building like medieval style roofs and houses and things like that, then you too are probably going to be eventually learning how to build in this kind of style. It's the most common style of roof building. This is just how everybody does it, and you can really tell when someone is trained in how to build this kind of roof, because like if you're playing like a build battle or something and the build comes up and it says like build a house, like you're gonna see at least one person building this kind of roof. The thing is that it really doesn't take a long time to build. It's a little bit tedious in that you got to place the stairs properly, but it doesn't take any longer to build than like your standard wood boxy roof. So that's the way that it looks. You can see step, step, block, step, and you got the top. So that's exactly basically what I've done here. It is exactly what I've done here. So step, step, block, step, block, step. The next thing to do is to put the top on. So usually what people will do, just so that nothing spawns up top, is they will use slabs of some kind. So I've got dark oak slabs here actually. And you just throw them on like that. Throw them on like that and then go across. Now what you want to do, this is always what people do also, is just go out by one more, put a step in, and then you've got your little almost Viking-esque jutting out thing. What do you call those? I don't know. They must have a name. I don't know what that name is. But you just basically go out by two, break that, put a step, break that, and then you can go and pick up your blocks when you're done. So nothing goes to waste. Where did it go? I've wasted it. Oh, I picked up something. All right. So essentially that's the roof in a nutshell. Typically you want to go 3 blocks apart from your builds, and I'm not sure at all why I did not do that. Like, I'm looking at this build right now and I have no idea why this one is so close to this one. I actually have no idea. Because that's wrong. Because it's not going to work. I can tell you right now it's not going to work. This all has to move. So I think this is dark oak. What is this? Is this dark oak? Yeah, it's dark oak. So it's got to go. Oops, wrong one. It's got to go out. It's got to go this way by at least one. So I have to cut that out. And then like that and like that. And I basically have to rebuild the footprint of this house because it all has to move. So the reason it has to move is because if we do this similar kind of roof, and we will, I mean, that's what everybody does. It sticks out by 1. This one will stick out by 1. And the 2 roofs will literally be touching, and it will look really odd if they aren't at least 1 block apart. That's my opinion. They've got to be at least 1 block apart. I just don't want them touching. They can't touch. So that's the way that it's going to be. It's the way that it is. And now they have to basically just go like this. And then like this. It all has to move. So that's what I'm going to work on next. Is just moving this one over, and then I'm going to build probably an oak colored roof on that one, or maybe a spruce colored roof on this one. All right, so another area that I struggle a lot on is what to do with the front fascia. I think that's what you call it anyway. So what you should be doing, and I really can't do because I don't have very much dark oak. Let's go check my chest. But what you should be doing is starting with the logs. Starting with the logs and coming down. So let's do this one since we're kind of in the area. Yeah, I don't have any dark oak here either. I'm going to have to go get more. Let's just throw some of this, declutter my inventory for a second. So the way you start is to climb up, try to climb up properly, and you start one away from the edge. So basically you'd start there, you'd go there, you'd go there. Okay, so come down by 2, and you just want to come to the edge of the roof and no further than that. And that's basically where you start. And then from there, kind of, no bounds. So what a lot of people end up doing is they will put in... See, I don't have the materials for this roof now that I've switched. So let's just throw in a bunch. We'll go like that. So I got that and like that. Okay. So what they'll do is they'll start by going like that. Okay. And from there, people might... How might they do this? How might they do this? See, this front piece is sometimes an issue, but not really. So what we can do is just go across like that. Or what some people do is they'll go across like that. So they'll have like a front piece there. That block's not supposed to be there either way. Or what they'll do is they'll have that open, which is what I prefer. So you have that open, and then your cross piece goes along there. And what this allows you to do is essentially just layer something on top of this. So what a lot of people end up doing, and again, this is something I struggle with, so I apologize because it's taking me so long. But what a lot of people do is, I'm going to try to think about this. You're probably going to have a window up here. But what you could do is go kind of like that and then have your window in the middle. It's what several people end up doing. Or you could have the top 2 would be your window, and then that bottom piece becomes just a base. So it's very difficult to do when you don't have the top floor at least mocked up. But you can go like this, and then this will have to move. Working on the fronts of houses. See how it's already shaping out just with the little bits of difference there. So we could go again like kind of like that if we wanted. Remember that that's going to be our window piece there. So like that. Possibly. And then have a window in there. And that front is really, really, really basic, really simple. Doesn't look too bad whatsoever. What you could also do, instead of, if you think that the stairs are too much, that you're just too many stairs, looks kind of cliche, shape it off with a few just normal bits. But I feel like the more depth you have in a build, even if it starts looking kind of, I don't know, kind of like too much almost, but the more depth you have, just the better the front is going to look either way. I don't know why that is, but it will. You could always shape it off with, I'm just going to use this as an example, but shape it off with things like that. And up here, we'll generally do something like that. So you put the step in just to give that, again, a little bit more depth. Another thing that people often do is they'll go like this, and then this piece instead will either come down or become like that. So that's another way you could shape it down, and it makes the whole top of the roof look a lot thicker. So I basically just put the step on there, and then it curves in and it comes in. Look at all the depth we've added just by placing a few little blocks. So it really does make a difference. What often people will do here is for this front area, if they won't finish it off with stone, they'll do something like that maybe. You know, just to give it some kind of a similar look to the front. What I've also seen people do, and I'm just kind of playing around at this point, let's grab a few of those, is they'll go like something like this, and then they'll break this, and then they'll go like that. So now you've got this basically like the stone curls around the entryway, and then you could put in your stairs again if you so choose. Maybe this time sideways like that, just to kind of curve it off. So that's an example of what you could do. Generally, I don't do this because the doors kind of look odd with a block there. And I will put a door, obviously. So it's all just kind of like you got to play with it. You got to take it apart, play with it again, until you like what you see. Another odd, common thing is I'll see stairs like that. You know, just very, very, very simple. And then maybe something like that. You could even shape it like that if you really wanted to. And now nothing could spawn up there, which is kind of good. Well, actually, they could spawn on that block, I guess. So take that out. Take it out then. If they can spawn up there, take it out. So there you go. Nothing can spawn up there. But I feel like that looks a little bit too much. So I'm not going to do it. Maybe like that. No, doesn't look that good. You got to play with it. But that's essentially all that there is to it with the front fascias. My biggest problem with it isn't so much designing it. It's figuring out what I want it to look like. Because I almost feel like every house should be unique in that aspect. And that adds a lot of issues to my building because I'm so indecisive. I can't decide. Something like that maybe. Doesn't look too bad. It's an interesting shape. So play around with it and see what you end up liking. At the end of the day, who knows what it might look like. But that's what I'm probably going to go with. Something like, I don't know. So indecisive. I just really, I have no clue what I want this to look like. Go like that. Doesn't look too bad. It looks like, see, this is where I'm indecisive. So I'm going to cut it there again and figure out what I'm going to do, and we'll be back in a second. So this is the design that I've settled on. You can see that I've basically remade the front. I've added in some stair pieces. This little fence here will probably eventually be replaced by glass, just because, or a glass pane, I should say, because it'll look better if it's a glass pane. This also might change, these fence pieces that I put here. I kind of just put them there to break up the monotony of just a solid oak slab. But I don't know. That looks all right, but at the same time, I feel like it needs something else. I might actually even just go back to one of my old houses there that I've built and see kind of what I did on the front there to shape it up. Sometimes what you could do is curve up a step and then have like another stone base. So for example, and this is just yet another example, while we're in the building mood, I might as well show you guys some examples of what we're talking about. So you'd go like this, and then up here would essentially be your front. So that's what a lot of people also do. You can make it look like that. You know, kind of just play around with it. That's getting a little elaborate on the front though. If you were to put leaves, especially, or some other kind of block to fill it in the corners and stuff, that would look probably pretty decent. Since I'm not going to do that, you can either leave it just like this, or even like like I was showing you before, what some people do is they'll go like that. And then you've got your little entryway. That actually doesn't look too bad because I have the door on the back end. You see that I've put it on the interior side, and then it doesn't stick out on the step. So that actually doesn't look too bad. You could even go so far as to break that and then place it kind of like that. Might look interesting too. So there's that. What else? We got to work on the interior. So the interior, what people generally do, and I don't work on a lot of interiors because I usually never get that far. It's kind of unfortunate for me, but I often just don't get that far. I don't know why, but it's like I build this little house type of thing. I'll work on the front. I'll get it looking like I want it to look. And see, I'm still playing around with it. I'm still playing around with it. I don't know how I want it to look. And that's why I'm, yeah, maybe just like that. Simple enough. Plain and simple. Anyway, the interiors aren't too difficult. What people end up getting in trouble with is how to make it look right with multi-levels, I think. At least that's what I think people have trouble with. So you see what I've done there is I've basically solved our problem before it was a problem. So you go kind of like that. Or would look better actually if this was like this, and then you go like this and like that. So similar style to what we did in our giant tower with the stairs, and it makes a nice flowing looking block. Not so much just like you've placed down steps. It actually looks like angled blocks, which is kind of cool. What you can do on the interior, I don't like blocking windows, so you start a wall on the interior right there, for example. And maybe you have like a doorway right here. And then you can have maybe like that. And then have a room there. Maybe a window in there. Another here. I don't know what real purpose you would have for it. You could put in like another doorway. Say that this is like a closet. This is the toilet. You could also, if you chisel this away, dig down into a basement, which is another option. Like you'd be surprised at just how much room we have to work with in such a little space. It's actually quite incredible. Like, look at that. Look at that. You would never have known that this house could expand so much just by putting up a few little walls. So you could do that. What I think I'm going to do is actually break this apart. Let's make this a much bigger space, living area. So this wall has to stay. This one right here, well, it doesn't have to stay, but it almost should stay if you're going to have a basement. And then what you could do from there is kind of limitless. You could build a little front room here. When you walk in, though, you got to watch how it's going to look. So you got to kind of just do a floor plan in your head. Where do I want the table and chairs, you know? Well, the table and chairs should be right up front. Okay, so now that I have room for the table and chairs, let's put a wall right here. The table and chairs will be right in this corner right here. And then maybe this, and then like this. And then this could be another little room. This will be a little hallway. So this goes up. Like so. You could put a window here if you so chose to. This could be like the little kitchen area maybe. Put a furnace or two. There's your entrance to the basement right here. Upstairs, we've already got most of the floor plotted out just because of the way that we're building this. Now you can choose to use slabs if you want just a little extra half slab of headroom, which could help. Maybe, I don't know. We could even go one further because this window's higher than this floor level. So you could go one higher, and then this will be your main floor area, which means that essentially you can gain a few blocks back here and gain your space back. So start it right here. There we go. Just make sure you're not hitting your head. There we go. So that's the floor in a nutshell. You want to start it in a way that you can see out this window. Instead, if you have other windows, you can see out them too. And so that you've got enough headroom down here. Look at this. I can jump in here. That's what I want. And it's not blocking the windows. That's what I want. All right, so I'm just going to continue with that. And we'll see where we are at in a little bit. All right, and we're basically done now. I've finished the back of the house, and what I realized immediately with our floor plan, so you got to kind of keep these things in mind when you're building, is if I'm going to have a floor plan like I started to build, then I have to think about this wall, and usually that's why you'd build this wall in first. What some people will do, and I'll just mock it up here for example, is like they'll have... It wouldn't be this color. I'm just showing you guys. But like they'll have the back piece the same flatness as the roof, so it does not stick out whatsoever. And that would let you do what I was starting to do with the stairs inside. It would basically let you have a little bit more space, one block of extra space in the interior by doing that. When I push it in by one block, which is what this does, that stairway where I had it had to move. So you'd almost not know it, but it did move in by one. You can actually see that this space right here is actually a little bit hollow. So, you know, you've got this one block of extra space that's kind of just not being used, and I just sealed it up because, you know, why not? Just seal it up. Our stairway still goes to the top. The top, however, is a little tiny bit smaller, as you can tell. Maybe make a room kind of like that. So you'd have my little bedroom right here, more or less. Could make it the same color as the roof if you wanted to blend it in a lot. I kind of like the depth. Makes it a little bit less claustrophobic. And we can have our little bed in here, maybe even tucked away underneath that. You could do something like this. You could also do something like that if you wanted to, but it's not necessary whatsoever. It just reduces the amount of space you've got, makes it feel a little bit more claustrophobic, so I leave those open. And surprisingly, this is maybe going to surprise you the most, but with this kind of a design, like we have here, say I make this the entryway. That doesn't look too bad. So you'd have maybe your little dining area right here. I don't know. You can find room for a lot of things. Or no, you know what? Let's keep the doorway right here. Keep it like that. Little window in. It almost looks like you could serve food out of this too. But here's our little doorway. This will be the kitchen area. You still have room, more than enough, for your little basement entrance. And this little basement entrance did not move. I didn't touch it. It's just basically you can go down the stairs now into another whole area if you wanted with this kind of roof design. But you can see that we're right up against the wall when we go up the stairs. But that in a nutshell is how you do the interior. Now it's just about decorating it. So you get your floor in, you put maybe a table and chairs right here. You put little kitchen stuff in here. If you wanted to, you could put a basement in. Go upstairs, put some books here, maybe a little reading area, bedroom. Like, you can now deck it out quite a bit, make it look nice very easily. And that, in a nutshell, from start to finish, started on this one, finished on this one, is how you build a little house in Minecraft. And that's it. That's where I'm going to leave the episode. Thank you guys for watching. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with this so far. I'm not done with it though, because not only do I have to basically replicate what we did here, over here, there, inside there, and also in several other houses that I wanted to build in this little village area. Not only do we have to do that, but we also have to decorate it too. Like, give these little houses some kind of an interior, some kind of a, you know, a purpose. Make them look lived in. And that's definitely the hardest part. So with that, thank you guys for watching. Like this video, comment below, do all those other awesome things people do. And we'll be seeing you next time on TimeShot. Bye-bye.